Can I tell you something? It's not urgent. It's not, there's no reason tonight specifically. It's just been sitting with me, and I think I want to say it out loud. I've been turning it over for a while, looking at it from different angles, and I think I've finally found the words that are close enough to the actual thing, or close enough that you'll understand what I mean, even where the words fall short. I want to tell you the moment I knew, the specific moment. Not when I started liking you, not when I realized I was falling. I mean, the moment I knew. The moment it stopped being a direction I was moving in and became a place I had arrived. Can I tell you? I've thought about this more than you'd expect. I know people talk about falling in love like it's a single event, a lightning bolt, one clean before and after. And maybe for some people it is. But for me, it wasn't like that. For me, it was more like I'd been building something without realizing I was building it, adding to it quietly every time I was with you. And then one specific moment, I looked at what had been built and understood all at once what it was. So let me take you back to that moment. I want to describe it exactly. It wasn't a dramatic moment. I want to say that first because I think you might expect something grand from me, and I don't want you to be bracing for something cinematic and then feel underwhelmed when I tell you what it actually was. It was ordinary, the most ordinary kind of moment, which is maybe exactly why it worked, because there was nothing to distract from it, nothing else going on, just you being completely yourself in the most unremarkable possible circumstance, and me suddenly unable to look away. We were somewhere we'd been a dozen times before. Nothing was different about the place. Nothing was different about the day. It was just a regular afternoon that I wasn't paying any special attention to until the specific second that I was paying complete attention to everything. You were talking, not to me, you were talking to someone else, or maybe just to yourself. I can't remember exactly, but you were in the middle of saying something and you didn't know I was watching you. That's the important part. You had no idea I was looking. You were entirely unperformed. The version of you that exists when nobody you're trying to impress is watching. When you've forgotten to manage how you're coming across. When you're just moving through the world as yourself, completely unedited. I'd seen you like that before. I want to be honest about that. It wasn't the first time you'd let your guard down around me, or I'd caught you in an unguarded moment. But something was different this time. Something in me was different. I'd accumulated enough of you by then, enough moments, enough conversations, enough of the specific texture of who you are, that when I saw you like that, unguarded and unrehearsed and entirely yourself, I didn't just see a person I liked a lot. I saw the person, the specific, irreplaceable, nobody else like this person. And something in my chest made a decision that my brain hadn't caught up to yet. What you were doing was so small, I almost can't say it because it sounds ridiculous when extracted from the moment. But you were concentrating on something. I remember the exact quality of your focus, the way it changes your whole face, how everything in you collects around the thing you're paying attention to, and you become very still and very present and very you, the most you. And you made a small sound, not a word, just a small, completely unconscious sound of either satisfaction or frustration. I still don't know which. And you moved on to the next thing. And I stood there and thought, I am completely finished. I am entirely done. There is no version of my future that I want that doesn't have this specific person's small unconscious sounds in it. That was it. That was the moment. I know. I know it's not what you were expecting. I've thought about whether I should dress it up, find a way to make it sound more significant from the outside. But I think the significance was internal, and it was enormous. And I don't want to dress it up, because the dressing would just be a thing on top of it. And the thing itself is what I want you to have. You made a small sound doing something small, and I knew. I want to tell you what the knowing felt like, because I think that's the part that matters, actually. Not the moment itself, but what it did inside me. It felt like relief. That's the first thing. I know that sounds strange. You'd expect something more like excitement or certainty, or that movie feeling of everything clicking into place with a swell of music underneath it. And there was some of that. But underneath all of it was this deep, cellular relief. Like something I'd been holding slightly tense for a very long time had finally been allowed to let go. Like some part of me that had been waiting had been told, here, this is it. You can stop looking. You found the thing. I didn't know I'd been looking. I want to say that clearly. I wasn't someone who walked into rooms hoping to find love. I wasn't searching. But the moment I knew, I understood with complete clarity that something in me had been searching for a very long time and had recognized you from a long way off. The way you recognize a word in a language you're just beginning to learn. That flicker of, I know this. I know this even though I couldn't have told you I was looking for it. I want to tell you some of the other things that came with the knowing, because the relief was the first wave, but there were others behind it. There was fear. I won't pretend there wasn't. Real fear. The kind that lives in the stomach. Because knowing meant caring, and caring meant the possibility of losing. And I'd spent a comfortable amount of time in my life not caring this much about any single outcome. And suddenly, I cared enormously about this one, about you, about whether you would come toward me or away, about whether what I felt was something you could feel too, or something I was carrying alone. The fear was real, and I held it alongside everything else, and I chose to keep moving toward you anyway, which I think is the most meaningful choice I've made in a long time. Choosing you in the face of the fear. That's the one I'm most proud of. There was wonder, too. I want to tell you about the wonder, because there's something genuinely wondrous about the moment you realize you love someone. The awareness of how specific it is, how singular, how there are billions of people in the world, and the exact configuration of this particular one somehow adds up to the thing that undoes you. You. Your specific face, and your specific mind, and your specific laugh, and your specific way of going still when you're concentrating on something. All of those particular details aligning into the exact right arrangement to reach into my chest and rearrange everything. The odds of it. I think about the odds sometimes, and I find them staggering and also completely irrelevant, because it happened, and the fact of it makes the odds seem beside the point. I should have told you sooner. I want to say that honestly. I knew for a long time before I said anything, and I held it because I was careful with it. I wanted to be sure it was the right time, the right words, the right everything, which I understand now was partly just fear in a more presentable outfit. The fear of saying the biggest thing, the fear of putting something irreplaceable into the open air where anything could happen to it. But I want you to know the timeline. I want you to know that I loved you for a long time before I found the words. That every conversation in every ordinary afternoon, in every moment I chose to keep coming back to you, to keep moving toward you, was the love before the language arrived. I was saying it in every direction before I could say it out loud. I need you to know that the love has been longer than the saying of it. And now, when I look at you, right now, in this light, after everything, I feel that same relief I felt in that first moment of knowing. It hasn't dulled. It hasn't become ordinary through repetition the way I worried it might. It's actually the opposite. Every time I look at you, knowing what I know, the relief finds new depth. It goes further down each time. Like the more of you I know, the more I understand what I would have missed. And the relief at not having missed it just keeps expanding to hold the full weight of that. I love you. The way I love you is specific and permanent, and I wanted you to know where it started. In the smallest possible moment, in a completely ordinary afternoon, in one small unconscious sound that you don't remember making and that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. That's the moment. That's when I knew. I'm glad I told you. I've been wanting to tell you for a long time, and now it's out in the world, and you have it, and it belongs to you, and I feel exactly like I did in that moment, actually. The relief. The same relief. It always comes back to that. With you, it always comes back to that. The relief of you. The relief of knowing.